So hi everyone, welcome to today's session. We will be having three segments starting with the introduction to selling on Amazon Singapore, followed by the basics of starting a company in Singapore, which will be covered by our guest speaker. And finally, we will have introduction to selling on Amazon. So before we start, I would like to quickly introduce our speakers. We have Daryl from Osome as well as Abel from Amazon Global Selling. So without further ado, I will just dive right in. So this presentation is tailored to those who are new to Amazon Singapore, as well as domestic and local sellers who are navigating online e-commerce opportunities on Amazon Singapore. So Singapore is a cosmopolitan city and global hub, especially when it comes to finance, tech, logistics, and transport. And despite its size, Singapore also has one of the highest GDP per capita and e-commerce penetration rates in the world. As seen here, Singapore's GDP per capita is higher than Switzerland, the UAE, and Qatar, and its e-commerce penetration rate is also at 80%, which is higher than the US and European average. Yep. So what Singapore lacks in landmass, it makes up for in ambition, ease of doing business, purchasing power, and connectivity to Asia as well as Southeast Asian nations. Singapore will become your most connected hub in Southeast Asia, which also means faster setup, seamless processes, and smooth importation. Today, Singapore is also an economic powerhouse with an impressive resume, and the numbers speak for themselves when it comes to the ease of doing business and logistics. Singapore is ranked second worldwide by the World Bank in 2020 when it comes to the ease of doing business. And they also came in first in terms of the efficient custom clearance and first in Asia for IP protection in 2019. Singapore is also an open economy for trade with 26 FTA, including the US SG FTA, which makes the import of most goods to Singapore tariff-free. With Southeast Asia as its backdrop, Singapore is connected to 3 billion Southeast Asian consumers within a 6-hour flight radius. Singapore is your gateway to accessing the Southeast Asian economy, which is expected to become the fourth largest economy in the world by 2030. Yeah, so e-commerce in Singapore is expected to grow strongly in the next 5 years, and we definitely want to catch the early train. Firstly, revenue of the Singapore e-commerce industry is expected to exceed USD $4.6 billion by 2025. Secondly, the pandemic has also spurred online spending in Singapore. And in the first half of 2020, the average basket size across SEA has increased by 23%. And Singapore in particular shows one of the biggest improvements with a growth of 51%. Singapore online shoppers also have one of the highest online spending in the region at $2,206 per year. And lastly, Singapore's high potential for cross-border e-commerce. According to a cross-border e-commerce report by Alpha Beta, by 2026, more than half of all online orders in Singapore will be expected to come from cross-border. The potential for micro SMEs to seize this potential is huge, with e-commerce export revenues from Singapore sellers potentially reaching 3.5 billion SGD by 2026. So next, Singapore, being a developed country, has very highly sophisticated e-commerce customers. Firstly, mobile commerce is important in Singapore, with half of our checkouts done online on mobile over desktop. Secondly, with high social media consumption, mainly on Facebook and Instagram, live streaming and the use of influencers are also on the rise. Shoppers are also motivated by cheap and fast shipping, clear expectations on delivery dates, coupled with deals and promotions, as well as range and quality. Overall, Singapore consumers are used to and they love discovering new overseas brands and products. In fact, 73% have shopped from overseas sellers compared to in the US, where only 34% actually purchase imported online goods. So top cross-border online shopping origins also include China, US, as well as South Korea. Singapore shoppers in particular are also seeking higher quality goods and selections that are not found locally. So why should you choose Amazon as your e-commerce partner? Firstly, Amazon is a globally trusted brand with its iconic Amazon boxes and smile icon. Amazon is also ranked second in the most admired company in the world in 2021 by Fortune. And customers primarily want to buy authentic goods, be assured of good customer service, and get fast delivery. With 175 fulfillment centers worldwide and 200 countries that we ship our products to, the logistics infrastructure provided by Amazon is on a global scale. Amazon Singapore brings all these innovative global features to Singapore customers and sellers. While there are many that I love to share with you, I like to highlight two key tools that are available on Amazon Singapore that makes buying and selling a delightful experience. We know that Singapore customers want fast delivery, trustworthiness, good customer service, and good deals when they shop online. Amazon Prime and Fulfillment by Amazon, commonly known as FBA, can help you deliver an excellent e-commerce customer experience while leveraging a well-loved brand. In Singapore, Amazon Prime offers a free one-day delivery on Prime eligible items. This means that your products can reach your customers faster. With FBA, Amazon also picks, packs, and ships the items for you, removing a lot of logistics hassle. Amazon Prime is also Singapore's third most recommended brand that's just behind well-loved names such as Singapore Airlines. Seller partners can also tap on the Prime base and gain the coveted Prime badge with the FBA. With FBA, another advantage is also less worries when it comes to handling customer servicing, as Amazon will take care of the queries, refunds, and returns on your behalf. With Prime and FBA, you can also participate in Prime Day and Amazon shopping events all year round to satisfy Singapore customers' love for good deals and discounts. To launch seamlessly in Singapore, Amazon Singapore also has a wide range of tools to help you transition at every stage. If you're looking for service providers to help with your logistics and customs, the Singapore Service Provider Network provides you a list of trusted providers. For brand owners, you can also be assured that your trademark is protected with the Amazon IP Accelerator, where we have trusted IP law firms that will help guide you through the process. We are now also accepting brand enrollment with a pending trademark, which allows brand owners to get early access to selling features and brand protection benefits. To improve your reach to customers, you can also tap on our wide range of advertising tools available. And for customer fulfillment and service, we have the FBA and Prime membership in Singapore, which means your customers enjoy one-day delivery without worrying about last-mile fulfillment. So with both Western and Asian confluences, Singapore celebrates many public holidays and shopping events. And the common ones that we share with the US would be Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as well as Christmas. But on top of that, we have local holidays and shopping events, which include Chinese New Year, National Day, as well as Deepavali. And what this means is that you can leverage different peak seasons in different countries to increase your overall revenue potential. So some examples of key shopping events in Singapore are Valentine's Day. We also have Prime Day, and we also have National Day as well as Christmas. So if you still need another reason, let me share with you some of the ongoing promotions that we have for Amazon Singapore sellers. Firstly, the subscription fee on Amazon Singapore is waived till the end of next year, so you can start your e-commerce journey on amazon.sg first. Next, we also recently launched a new FBA selection program, which means free storage and free removals for professional selling accounts on up to 100 new to FBA parent ASINs. Next, no fees for deals and voucher fees for all deal types via FBA, for example, deal of the day, lightning deal, best deal, and prime exclusive deals. And lastly, we are also providing a free $65 in ad credits for sponsored ads. If you're interested in this, you may view the full terms and conditions of the promotions on Amazon Singapore's website. Here we also have some of the key milestones that we have celebrated over the past 5 years. Amazon Singapore is growing with our customers, and our journey in Singapore has only just begun. Now that you understand how to engage with the Singapore shoppers, let's go into what you can sell in Singapore and what some of the trending products are. So if you see here, we have many categories that you can list your products in. This slide shows you how Amazon actually categorizes the products and the available categories that we have to sell on Amazon.sg. The main categories will be consumer electronics, where top performing categories include electronics, personal computer, and wireless products. And then we have consumables, where we see high performers in health and personal care, beauty, as well as baby. And other hardlines include home, kitchen, sports and toys, and lastly, media. And for soft lines, we have jewelry and watches available, and our apparel and shoes category, which will be launching soon. So looking at the bigger picture, we identified 3 key trends that have shaped Singapore customers in 2021. Firstly, the smart nation, smart living. With work from home being predominant in Singapore, popular products include the Amazon Echo, robot vacuum cleaners, smart gardens to liven up homes, and electronic devices to facilitate home offices such as laptops, laptop stands, as well as phone accessories. Wellness and self-care is also a trending theme that we see, with popular products that include massage equipment, supplements, as well as fitness device. And with more time on hand, entertainment at home is also a core theme. Popular products would include the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, video games, as well as books. So these are some of the popular items in each category that you can reference in your research for your e-commerce store. Now that we've covered an introduction to Amazon Singapore, tips to engage Singapore shoppers and trending products, you may check out more resources to sell on Amazon Singapore via the QR codes that are on screen. Do also follow us on Facebook at Sell on Amazon SG to stay up to date with all the latest news and events. Thank you. I'll now pass the time to Daryl from Osome.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for taking time out for this webinar, and a big thanks to Amazon for giving me this opportunity to share with you regarding how to start a business in Singapore if you ever thinking of incorporating in Singapore, right? So my name is Daryl, and I am really excited to be here with you guys as well. Okay, so my name is Daryl again. I am the Senior Strategic Partnerships in Osome. So I help to manage all the partnerships for the Singapore side. So for Osome, we are operating in Singapore, Hong Kong, and UK, and we are a 24/7 online corporate service provider. And we offer incorporation, corporate secretary services, accounting, tax, and payroll services as well. So similar to what Xingxue had shared earlier, right? We're just really here to encourage you to start your business, Amazon business in Singapore. But again, to just really add on to what Xingxue is saying, right? Why Singapore? She said earlier, most competitive economy in the world, right? And we are constantly at the top of the list in the ease of doing business. Like what she mentioned earlier, as of last year, we're number 2. I haven't checked the latest statistics yet, but we are always in the top 3 or at least top 5, which is a really good thing. So over here in Singapore also is a common law. We are English speaking and also an ASEAN hub. We have a lot of grants for SMEs, which I will share more later on, as well as tax exemptions for startups and industry-specific tax incentives, which I will also touch on a little bit later. Right. So all these in themselves, they are just really great reasons why Singapore is a great place for you to just start a business over here. And also, if you're looking to expand, to just use Singapore as a base, right, to expand within the Southeast Asian region. Right. So about the tax, okay. Yep. So it's really, we have a really low tax over here. The corporate tax rate in Singapore is a flat 17%, which is way lower than a personal tax rate between 0 to 22%. So there is a chance that your personal tax, you paying a 22% tax rate, which you could have just enjoyed a 17% corporate tax rate. And this 17% corporate tax rate is also before any tax exemptions that you see at the bottom here, which I'll touch on in the next slide. Singapore also offers a 0% capital tax gains as well as 0% tax on dividends as well. So this in itself is really very attractive, right? So moving on to the tax exemptions. Okay, this will apply if number 1, your company is incorporated in Singapore, and number 2, you're a tax resident, which you will be if you start your company in Singapore and you have less than 20 shareholders, which is also most likely the case if your company is small, right? So if you take all 3 categories, all right, you have first you get to enjoy the startup tax exemption for the first 3 years, in which for the first 100,000 of your chargeable income, you are exempted 75% of the 100,000, in which if you do the calculations, you're effectively paying only 4.25%. For the next 100,000 of chargeable income, you're exempted 50%, and if you do the calculations on yourself, you are effectively paying only 8.5% of the tax rate. So compared to a flat 17%, or even for a personal tax rate of up to 22%, this is actually very attractive and really something to look forward to. All right, so for the partial tax exemption as well, as you can see at the bottom, for the first 10,000, this is after 3 years, right? So the first 3 years, you get to enjoy the startup tax exemption. For the next 3 years, you get to enjoy the partial tax exemption. So for the first 10,000, you're exempted 75%, and for the next $190,000, you're exempted 50%, right? So and again, more tax exemptions for you to enjoy. Right. So if you're a foreigner and you want to start a company in Singapore, and you're thinking, okay, I may need to move to Singapore. My business can't be can't be done digitally. If you're starting e-commerce business, definitely you can. But this is just for those who are thinking of moving to Singapore as a foreigner, right? So there's two ways. You either come in through the employment pass or come in through the on-trade pass. For the employment pass, if your salary is more than $6,000, you have higher education, at least $50,000 deposited in a corporate bank account. If you wish to apply EP your own company, there can be then you likelihood your chances of getting the employment pass will be pretty high. How long it takes, all right, is 1 to 3 months if you're invited by the company, or if it's 3 to 6 months if you're registering the business yourself. So just take note of this timeline in mind. It might help you to just plan out the time a little bit more. Right. For the entree pass, if you're an entrepreneur, basically it means if you really just receive a funding from a government or a government recognized VC or incubator or recognized institution, all right, you get to have the entree pass. Okay. Or if innovators, you hold IP and all that. Just different ways in which you can get an entree pass as well, right? But I don't believe this will apply to a lot of you. But if you're interested, just drop me an email right after this. I'm more than happy to link up with you to just assist you on this matter. All right. So before I start a business in Singapore, okay, I think it will help you to understand the different business entities that we have over here in Singapore. So over here, we have 5 common business entities, being the sole proprietor, the partnership, limited liability partnership, and private limited company. Out of all this, I'll just give you through a few, but the most important will be 2. Number 1 is sole proprietor and the private limited company, which of course I'll touch on a little bit. So for the sole proprietor, it's really just all about you. The good thing about being a sole proprietor is, of course, number 1, you get full control of the business. It is extremely easy to set up because you are alone, right? The profits are all yours. And out of all the 5, a sole proprietor has the least amount of compliance requirements, right? And what are some examples of compliance requirements I'll share in future slides. If you choose not to have the business anymore, it's really easy to terminate. Okay. However, on the flip side, okay, there's no it's not a separate legal entity, which means you are the business is you. Anything that happens to the business happens to you, and that in itself also means that your personal bank account, I mean, if you are transacting using your personal bank account, is affected. Any losses, you hold it personally on your own, which is a huge risk. There's no tax incentives or benefits, no government grants, and of course you pay your higher tax rate, which is your personal tax. As shown earlier, it can all be all the way up to 22% instead of just paying a 4.25% after enjoying the startup tax exemption. Right. Next is a partnership or limited partnership. Again, similar to sole proprietor, you enjoy lesser compliance regulations. It's also very easy to set up and manage, and in a way, it's also much cheaper to set up. All right. Of course, the downside again is your tax is based on your own individual tax rates. Both of you are considered a single legal entity, which also means the risk is higher. So instead of one person making a mistake, it's now like double, right? And because you guys are considered a single legal entity, anything that happens to your partner happens to you as well. So that's something to take note of. Personally liable for actions of the partners, and through this, proper or good partnership or limited partnership requires a very high degree of trust. If you have that is great, right? But if not, probably some others you might want to consider others. LLP, there's equal rights LLP and differential rights LLP. Again, similarly, you setting up LLP is easier, fewer compliance regulations, registration costs are lower, share allotments and AGM not mandatory. Again, the cons, you talk about tax, talk about management disputes, you have lesser financial resources. I'm not going to talk too much about it because this is one of the least common business entities that we have. What the most common that we have in Singapore, as well as what Osome personally recommends, is really just a private limited company, right? Why? Okay, the company really lasts forever. In the event you want to pass it on to other people, it is really easy to do so, and it is so much easy. Expansion is great. You enjoy a very low corporate tax rate, as mentioned earlier, all the way down to 4.25% tax, which is unthinkable really in anywhere else in the world. Not just that, there's a lot of government grants available for private limited companies, such as your Start Digital Grant and the PSG grant and many other grants. All right, if you want to know more, again, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to share all these with you as well. Because you have a business bank account then, So that means that it is separated, that is tied to your business. Your own personal bank account is tied to you. Whatever happens to your business happens to your business. Whatever happens to you is a separate thing altogether. If a business makes a loss, right, the funds are deducted from the bank account, you are not affected. So in itself, in this case, the risk is really, really much, much lesser, right? Of course, the downside to this is there are way more statutory compliance regulations, and the cost of starting up is higher. What regulations are there? I'll touch on more really, really soon. So if you are by now you're interested in thinking how to incorporate, this is really, really simple. All you need is just 4 simple steps. Number one, just check for the availability of the company name, right? If let's say you want to have a company called Chair Private Limited, of course, then you just need to check whether the name is free. If it's not available, then probably choose another name. All right. Once you've chosen the name, you can just appoint a registered filing agent. You provide the required information and documents, and you're good to go, right? So Osome is a registered filing agent. We can definitely do all these things for you. Sign the documents that we prepare for you, and voila, your company is then incorporated, right? So what are some things that you need to know? First and foremost, with a company name, try to avoid simple words like bank, insurance, education. Reason being because these words are tied very closely to some of the government agencies in Singapore. Like bank is tied very closely to the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Insurance, education is tied to like MOE, for example. So setting up these business names, these government agencies might just like come up to you and just ask you like, what's the purpose of business, etc. So it's not saying you can't, but you'll take a lot longer and you'll do a bit more checks and investigations as well. So just for the sake of speed and all, we just try to avoid it. Okay, the next thing you need to know is just really your business details and the SSIC code. So basically what all this means is really just having a brief description of what you're planning to do or what your business is doing, as well as the corresponding business activity code. If you're not sure what the SSIC code is, you can just drop in a quick Google SSIC code Singapore, and there's a whole list of codes that you can choose from. Just need to select one that that is most relevant to your business, and you can use that as your SSIC code. Right. The third that you must have, this is regulation in Singapore, is you need a local address. So it must be an address in Singapore and not a PO box, right? If you don't have an address in Singapore, and we do not recommend you using your home address because you will receive a lot of official letters from the different agencies. Again, Osome offers a service to share a local address with you. So you can use our service for that. And you also need a local director, a Singapore director, to start a company. Okay, you cannot be the director if you hold an EP from another company. So this is something that you take note of as well. Also, we also offer a nominee director service where we offer we share with you some of our directors, which using this service you can just create a company even though you're just one person, like a foreigner, for example. Okay, so a company secretary details. So by law, you need to appoint a company secretary within 6 months of incorporation. You can do so after 6 months, but you can just get it sorted out quickly, fast free, right, through Osome. And of course, just need to know your share structure, and your minimum paid up capital is just $1 Singapore dollar. All right, so some basic compliance regulations, just a few things you need to know as well. Okay, what you need to do to maintain your business, basically you need to do these 4 things on an annual basis. So every year, first thing you need to do is you need to hold an AGM, or what we call an annual general meeting. You need to file your income tax returns, you need to file your annual returns, and you need to file your ECI, which is estimated chargeable income for short. So income tax is just a calculation of actual tax to be paid. Deadline is December 15th every year. Filing your annual returns basically is just documents to indicate your company's financial health and status. To be filed only after the shareholders sign the resolution approving of your FS, your financial statements, right? You should be filed within 7 months after your financial year end, and the filing of the ECI to be filed 3 months after your financial year end. So again, there's a lot of requirements, a lot of deadlines, timeline is all over the place. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what you need to know. If, let's say, for example, your company's financial year end is on the 31st of December, right? Which means you need to file, the first thing you need to do is to file your ECI no later than 3 months after your FRE. Basically, which means your estimated chargeable income has to be filed no later than 31st March. Followed by which you need to hold an annual general meeting no later than 6 months after your financial year end, which means before 30th of June, you need to hold your AGM. Following which, again, before the 31st of July, you need to file your annual returns, followed by filing of your income tax returns by November 30th or 15th December if you file it electronically. And that is a whole year's worth of timeline and compliance regulations. And after that, this repeats year after year. So if you think about it, after 15th December, another 15 days or so, it's your financial year ready for the following year. And then you do everything over and over and over again. Right. So this is just this is what you need to do to allow your company to just continue existing in Singapore. Right. The next thing I want to talk about audit. Okay, your company is exempted from audit if number one, you are a private company with private limited in the financial year in question, and of course you meet two of the three criteria. The first criteria is your total annual revenue is less than 10 million SGD, your total assets is less than 10 million SGD, as well as the total number of employees is less than 50. So as long as you meet two of the three requirements and you are a private limited company in the financial year, your company will be exempted from audit, which again is something that can be quite appealing to a few of you, I can imagine. Okay, so having shared all that, right, like we have the compliance regulations and all that can be really difficult, can be confusing to some people. Why we are here? So why Osome? Why am I here to share all this with you? So basically what we can do is Osome is just really here to help you with to get rid of the paper in your paperwork. Okay, as well as mentioned earlier, we are fully digitalized corporate secretarial services company. So with that, everything is done online at the comfort of your own home. You don't have to go down to sign anything. You don't have to go down to the bank or to meet up with any lawyers to get any document signed or to print out the document even. Everything is quick, everything is easy, everything is digitalized, right? So convenience is there. It's reliable services to ensure that you are covered. So even during the festive season, we are always here. Okay, just because it's Christmas, just because it's Chinese New Year, doesn't matter. We are here for your benefit and for your company. Okay, we also move at speed. You don't need to wait for your corporate secretary or accountant. We just, as fast as you can provide us the necessary documents or to reply us, we are there with you. Okay, we won't say we are the cheapest, but we are definitely one of the most competitive out there. The prices are low because everything is digitalized. It reduces the need for manual labor, in which then our costs can go down as well. Again, over here also there's no hidden costs. Whatever we charge you is flat, right? There's no additional charges. There's no GST. Everything is covered by there, and we have a full suite of services to enjoy as well. And again, another reason why I want to share about Osome is because we are an expert e-commerce accountant. Okay, we have a dedicated e-commerce accountant tagged to you, right? With giving you expert advice on e-commerce supplies, inventory management, sales logistics, accounting, and tax matters. So also we are integrated seamlessly with Amazon using this third-party app called Osome Connect, which is something that we built. What this does is all your invoices and all your transactions are automatically taken from Amazon to a bookkeeping software. Right now, we have integrated Xero and more coming up soon. So that in itself is really easy. You just integrate, you just forget, and just relax. Everything is done automatically. Great. So through Osome, through our accounting service, we also provide you a real-time data of profit and loss, as well as let you know which SKU is making money, which SKU is making a loss. You can tweak it based on SKUs, based on product lines or whatever. It's entirely up to you, right? So with this, you can save up to 8 hours of administrative hours a week, which is a lot, and you can definitely use these 8 hours to think of different ways to scale your business as well, right? Again, pricing is competitive. If you have any special requirements, just let us know. We can adjust the price and just quote you again based on your revenue for that year as well. Not a problem. So again, for Osome, it's really convenient. No printing of documents. You sign everything online, and you can view your own accounts at the comfort of your own home if you use our accounting service. We also definitely move at speed. So we reply to you through our proprietary chat function. 85% of responses are made within 15 minutes. The fastest we've ever incorporated this is an Osome record. We incorporated our company within 38 minutes. All right. And of course, this could be done just because that client had all the documents ready, and we would just proceed with the necessary. But just imagine within half an hour, your company is set up and ready to go. That's really great. And also because all your transactions, your documents is automatically transferred, your invoices automatically transferred from Amazon all the way to Osome. You don't have to download and upload it again, and then you forget invoices, you forget to upload documents. So with this, because everything's automated, we increase the speed of which your accounts are being done, and we reduce the amount of errors that we have also. Yep. Again, best prices in the market. No hidden costs, no additional GST, and accounting prices are just based off your revenue, not the transactions. So if that year your revenue, you had a bad year, your revenue is lower, we charge you based on that revenue rather than the amount of transactions that you have, which is going to help you save a lot more money as well. So just to cut short, we are just really a one-stop solution for you. We offer incorporation, corporate secretary, accounting, tax, payroll, and immigration services. Again, many other partners that we work with as well. If you're looking for banking partners, we're working with Aspire, a same-day neo bank account opening. Or if you're looking for a local bank account, we work very closely with OCBC to offer a same-day local bank account opening. Various other e-commerce platforms to just help you manage everything together. If you're looking for office space, we have many partners with them as well. We have many partners that we work with as well. So just feel free to hit us up. Just find out more about us if you're interested, and we're more than happy to share what we have with you. We talk about costs, low cost for locals, regular incorporation just $350. If you decide, okay, you want a corporate secretary service, okay, that's a $600, in which technically you have incorporation for free. Right, if you want accounting with us, again, there'll be $1,100 for locals. Of course, with foreigners, the price increases a little bit more. I'm not going to share too much details over here, but if you're interested, definitely just feel free to hit us up. But one thing I do want to say though, all right, just as a special promotion for you guys, seeing that, and to thank you guys for just attending this webinar, we are offering you an additional 16% discount on your first invoice. So all you need to do is just quote Amazon SG16 when you're speaking to us, and we are more than happy to just offer the additional 16% discount to you, right? For the prices, these over here listed here are the base prices. Of course, the pricing will change slightly depending on requirement as well. But let us know how we can help you, and let us know what exactly are your needs, and we can quote you accordingly from here. All right, and if you want to find out more again or ask questions that are slightly different, or if you have really specific questions that you want to ask, just feel free to email us at referrals@osome.com. If not, you can email me again at daryl.chua@osome.com as well. But emailing referrals would be great. I'm in it as well, not a problem. And more than happy to just answer and to help you guys on your entrepreneurship and an e-commerce journey as well. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Amazon. I look forward to answering any questions that you might have later on.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thank you.
Hi, folks. My name is Abel, and I'm part of the Amazon Global Selling team, where we help entrepreneurs like yourself to go global. And for my section, right, I'll be talking about going to Amazon.com, which is the US marketplace. So there will be some key takeaway that you need to know. So first and foremost, why you should sell the US marketplace, and also understand what are the new incentives as a new seller if you are intending to go to the US. What is this 50-day plan that will help you succeed on Amazon? I'll share a bit more on product selection, FBA, and lastly ABR, which is the Amazon Brand Registry. So we will kick off on understanding what is Amazon.com all about. Okay, so Amazon.com is actually founded and created by Jeff Bezos himself. So it has been in the past 25 years, and we have the largest number of Prime members and also the most complete logistics system nationwide. I will say that Amazon really prides ourselves with the best logistics when it comes to e-commerce in the US. And as you can see, e-commerce in the US is still growing year on year. And it is something that, we are at an inflection point in Southeast Asia where you have unique selection that you can actually sell to the US. And as you can see, Amazon is actually one of the top e-commerce platform. So I really hope you will consider US. I know most of you guys will actually consider expanding to Asia first, but the US market is something that many people know, but not many people is daring enough to take that step forward. So for this year in 2022, one of the most interesting thing about being a new seller on Amazon.com is that there are some so-called freebies or incentive. If you are coming on board with us this year, you'll be qualified for things like free monthly storage, free liquidation, free return processing, and even a monthly rebate of 5%. So I think just to share with you, this is totally new. I mean, I have been with Amazon for a few years, and this is the first time Amazon is actually offering such incentive to new sellers like yourself. So as you can see, what are the new benefits as compared to the existing benefit? I think the most important thing to note will be this 5% rebate, where new to FBA SKUs, mean new products that you launch on Amazon, will be eligible for this 5% rebate. So as you can see, to be eligible, you need to be an FBA seller and also enroll into ABR. I'll touch more on that later on. So in terms of enrollment, you don't need to worry. If you are a new seller and you enroll yourself as a seller on Amazon.com, it's auto enrolled. So that's something for you to note. So I will touch a bit more on the 50-day plans to succeed on Amazon as a new seller. So first and foremost, if you're intending to sell on Amazon, the US marketplace, the most important thing to note will be to understand the regulations and compliance that you need to adhere to from a federal perspective, federal law perspective, and because that is very important. So for example, if you're selling food or cosmetic, which you guys have put in your Q&A, these are things that require FDA. So if you're selling toys, you will need the children certification for your toys. So it is very important to understand the federal laws in the US, because when you ship your products into the US at the port of entry, the custom will ask for the paperwork, and you will have to work with your logistic partner to get those paperwork ready for them to check. So that is for regulations. Afterwards, I will actually encourage you to go and find out more about the materials, YouTube videos on Sellers University. This is actually a free program where you will learn step by step from listing, from optimization, from FBA preparation. Everything is free, so you do not actually need to go on any paid trainings to learn how to sell on Amazon. Actually, Amazon offers this for free. So you just need to go and find them online. Afterwards, if you sign up for a professional account, then you will get account manager support for the next 90 days when you sign up. Then you will start to list and you will prep your first FBA shipment. Afterwards, if you are ready to go, you can actually get a US trademark to protect your brand and your product on Amazon. And afterwards, you can adopt Amazon advertising to optimize your listing on our marketplace. So as mentioned, Sellers University is actually the place where you can learn everything about Amazon. This is totally free, okay, for both individual seller and professional sellers. I will now touch a bit more on product selection. Okay, product selection in Asia as compared to the US will be different. You must always remember that you're selling to Americans and you're not selling to Asians. So it is not about the lowest price. What are people looking for is high quality, what's your brand story, and what your brand represents to the world. So many people will be asking, I don't really know what to sell, Abel. Where should I start off my search? So on Amazon, you actually can find best sellers, new releases, movers and shakers. I will say that these are a place for you to start off to understand what are the demands in the US. So as you can see, when you go on Amazon.com as an end consumer, you can find out what are the best sellers. So as a seller, you understand what is needed or what is in demand in America. Okay, I think this is a very important slide for everyone who is intending to sell in the US. Okay, I think everyone will ask, Abel, I don't know if my category will be approved by Amazon. As you can see on the screen, there are some categories such as baby, beauty, pets, toys, which require additional paperwork. And this paperwork, don't worry, if you want to know where to get those paperwork, you can always reach out to us. We will refer you to those agencies or service provider that will help you get those paperwork done. Yeah. Now I'll share a bit more on FBA. Fulfillment by Amazon, this program is a logistic program to scale your business. And I would like to highlight this part is about scaling your business in America. Because you're based in Southeast Asia, you do not want to keep on handling all the, customer service, customer returns. It has all these things takes time, right? And as an entrepreneur, you want to scale your business. So this is where Fulfillment by Amazon will really come in to help. Because what you just need to do is you need to ship your inventory. You can ship 1 unit to 1,000 unit. Okay, there's no minimum number of units you have to ship to our fulfillment center. If you ship directly from Southeast Asia to our US warehouse, we will so-called collect them, put them in our warehouse, and when somebody orders, we will pick, pack, and ship on your behalf. And the best part is customer service and customer return is all handled by Amazon. So all you need to do as an entrepreneur or business owner is to make sure there's inventory in the fulfillment center. So in this slide, you can see what's the difference between fulfilled by merchant, which means you fulfill it to the end consumer directly from Southeast Asia to the US, as compared to FBA. Okay, the most important key point will be, Amazon will actually answer the queries within 24 hours in the local language. Yeah, I don't think anyone here can speak so many language. I mean, you need to be versatile in Spanish, maybe in some European language if you sell in the US. And if you are shipping directly to the end consumer, you also have to provide a local US address for returns. So I think it is better for you to ship it. If there's any issues with your inventory, actually FBA will help you to manage the returns too. Next, I will share a bit more on ABR, Amazon Brand Registry. Okay, Amazon Brand Registry, why you have to do it to apply or get a US trademark is because selling on Amazon is not a quick rich scheme. Okay, I think everybody here is thinking, I come on Amazon, I can quickly sell and be rich. That is not how Amazon works. Amazon is a place to build a brand, to tell a story of your brand to the world. And most importantly, we see that as brand owners, meaning that you have a trademark, be it in Singapore, in the US, they are able to sell faster on marketplaces because you guys have a story to tell, and I think customer can relate to you. So, and customers in America like to follow new brands. They like to discover new brands on Amazon.com. And what Amazon wants to build from a end consumer perspective is a safe and authentic experience. You want to buy on Amazon.com knowing that the products you buy is authentic and it's not, fraudulent, for example. So this is where Amazon Brand Registry comes in, where you have a US trademark and we will actually protect. So there are actually 3 main parts to it. You can build, grow, and protect with a US trademark. I won't go into details, but when we say about building, it means that as a seller, if you have a US trademark, you will have more features that you can adopt as a seller. Things like A+ content, meaning that your listing can be beautified with posters and other forms of graphics that you can put on your listing. And also you can build your own store, which is free. Grow is more about looking into the data of your end consumer. Amazon actually provide this free of charge to all brand owners on Amazon, where you can understand who are your demographic that is following your brands. You can actually blast your listing on things like sponsored brands video and display. So you will have much more feature that you can adopt as a brand owner. And lastly, protect. As a brand owner on Amazon, what you can do is you can actually report a violation when you see someone hijacks your listing on our marketplace. You can even, put on a unique QR code on each and every SKU and unit when you're selling on Amazon.com. So when somebody scans your QR code on your particular unit that is sold, they can actually trace back that it is authentic. And lastly, Project Zero is where Amazon and you as a brand owner can work together to remove fraudulent actors on our platform. So you may ask, US trademark, how much it costs? Okay, so we have this program called the Amazon IP Accelerator, where we work with 15 law firms in the US, and it's already pre-negotiated. So the price in total, you will spend around $1,200 for a US trademark for 10 years. And the application period will take up to 6 to 9 months to get it completed. So this is something very important to note. You can actually scan the QR code here to understand more. So I've come to the last slide. Please do up the survey form. This survey form will actually be shared to our leaders. So do up the survey form, and if you want to follow us on Facebook, please do so too. So now I will open up the floor for Q&A. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so right now I will direct some questions to Darryl first. So I think Darryl, first and foremost, I think for those who are online, I think they would like to find out, if they want to start on Amazon, should I start off as a sole proprietor or should I start off as a private limited? What are the pros and cons?
Okay, that's a very good question. Of course, if you ask me from a business point of view, I ask you to start from a private limited company, right? But to be really fair, if you're looking to start out just really, really small, like just to have a taste of how a business is like, is this something really you're looking to do? More than just a side hustle, looking to just really grow that. Of course, please by all means just start as a sole proprietor first. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the cost of starting up is really, really small. It is really easy. Not so much documents to settle, very, very little compliance regulations. So just now I shared the entire timeline of how the various things you need to do. That is just for private limited companies. For sole proprietor, you do not need that. So it just gives you a good sense of how your business is going to be run. Right. Of course, if you then choose to expand it and make it a bit more profitable and to make it legal, just to enjoy the tax benefits, to enjoy the grants available, right? Then yes, I would highly recommend opening a private limited company. Just keeping your money separate from your personal account. I think that is something that's very important as well, just to manage your risks. If anything happens, at least your business account is affected, but your personal savings is not affected. Right, so this is a very big difference between a sole proprietor and a private limited company. While yes, a lot more compliance regulations are there, it can be easily solved by just engaging us, or after a while, if you're used to it, is a breeze, right? So I hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Darryl. Yep, there's another question for you. Do I need a company secretary for sole proprietorship?
Yeah, for sole proprietorship, you do not need a company secretary.
Cool. And another one, is there any withholding tax on Facebook ad spend in Singapore?
Okay, the quick answer is no. There's none.
Cool. Then another one, does Singapore limited company need a local Singapore director? So private limited in Singapore, do you need a local Singapore director?
Yes, private limited companies in Singapore, you will need a local director as well as a local registered address. So these both are regulations from the Singapore government that we need to adhere to. So you do need to find a local director. Like if you have a friend in Singapore whom you can trust, great. If not, Osome also provides a nominee director service where all our directors are local, right? And we do not interfere with your business as well. So we're providing you that service just to help you to kickstart your business. And of course, down the road, if you manage to get a partner or get a friend who is interested to come aboard the company and want to replace, sure, by all means. Yep.
Cool. And one last question. What Singapore corporate bank partners that you guys work with to set up Singapore company bank accounts?
Right. So right now we have two big banking partners. The first one for digital banks is Aspire. They're really, really huge right now. A great amount of benefits and great amount of returns. And a good cashback. Our next bigger partner for local banks, okay, of course, the difference between digital banks and local banks, I'm not going to go into it right now because there's a whole another hour that I can talk on about it, right? But if you prefer a local bank, right, we work with OCBC and we are currently working with them for same-day bank account opening. So if you open if you start a company with us, where we can link you with OCBC immediately to push for the same-day account opening, or at least within 24 hours.
Thanks, Daryl.
Yep.
We have June, our .sg leader online. So I think we do have questions on .sg. So June, this is question for Amazon.sg. As a US company, can we sell our products on Amazon.sg directly using their fulfillment center, or do we have to set up a company in Singapore first?
Yeah, I would say you can sell directly on Amazon.sg, right? I think the key questions will be, I think I may have to direct it back to Daryl because I think there's some tax benefit. So I think depends on the scale or expectation of your sales in Singapore, right? So I think in that case, I may ask Daryl for your help on the pros and cons on this part. Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat that again? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so I think the question is that the company is in the US, so if they want to sell in Singapore, do they need a business in Singapore, right? So in Amazon perspective, we don't need that. But I think there's some tax benefit or some benefit as a company in Singapore.
Yes.
So I think I may need your help on that. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. So as a Singapore company, you enjoy, for the first 3 years, you enjoy the Startup Tax Exemption, in which you enjoy up to the first $100,000. There is a fixed amount of tax deduction. For the next $100,000, again, there's another fixed deduction. So all in all, your tax that you pay if you are selling in Singapore from a Singapore company is much, much lower. Even without that, right, the flat corporate tax rate is 17%, which is already much lower than most American much lower than the US side. So if you do want to sell in Singapore using a Singapore company, this is something that you may really just want to consider just from the tax front, that it might be much more worth it, or your savings will be much higher. Right. Of course, there are pros and cons. If you're in America, you know, how do you manage your business, all that in Singapore side, how do you engage the sellers here, all that. I believe that's where Amazon can come in to help you so much more on this front. But from tax front, yes, it does make sense. Especially if you're looking to expand within the Southeast Asia region, Singapore is definitely a good place to be, especially with the low tax.
Yeah, there's another question about, can you advise if we need to pay US taxes if we do Amazon FBA in US? I think I will share my perspective then. I think Daryl will share his perspective. I think when you sell in the US and when you first start off as if you are selling under a private limited, you won't be asked to pay for US tax. But tax reporting back in your local country in Singapore, you will have to report the tax. So Daryl, you don't have anything to add from your side, from your perspective?
No, I think it's the same. So if you are a Singapore company and you have, let's say, a local bank, for example, and the remittance or the money that you sell in the US comes back to Singapore, then yes, you pay Singapore tax.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another question under Facebook ads. So Facebook ad spend will fall under loyalty fees from Singapore Tax Authority. I think that's a question. So do you know if Facebook ad spend will fall under loyalty fees from Singapore tax authorities?
Okay, that is a very good question. Unfortunately, I am not well versed enough to answer this correctly. So if this is really a big question for you, please feel free to drop us an email at referrals@osome.com. My colleagues will be more than happy to answer you properly and accurately. I'm sorry, I can't advise on this right now.
No, Daryl.
Yeah.
Another question for you, Daryl. If I set up a private limited with one stakeholder, will it be an issue to add stakeholders in the future?
No, it is not an issue. Private limited company, one stakeholder first, it is okay. Moving along the lines, when there's more stakeholders coming in, just feel free to add them on as well. We are definitely yeah, it's not an issue. We are happy to help you with this process. Just let us know. Of course, if you're using our service, right? Just let us know, and we will do it for you very easily.
Cool. And there's another question about
Sure.
directorship. Local director for private limited can be myself if I'm a Singapore citizen.
Yes, that is correct.
Cool. Yep. So I think that's all from a tax and accounting perspective.
Sure.
Okay. There's another. As a new seller, we are lacking behind sellers that already have many reviews. How do you gain trust from customers initially? I think this is an Amazon question. So, I think from the Amazon.com side of things, when it comes to review as a new seller, I think many people have the perception that you will need to get reviews to get conversion. I think in the long term that is true. And if a new seller wants to get reviews, you can do it organically, meaning you wait for people to write. The other one is if you are a brand owner, you will have this thing called Vine program where Vine reviewers can actually write for you. But that comes with a cost of $200 for the US side. June, do you want to take over on the .sg side?
Yeah, very good point, Abel. So for .sg is a bit different, right? We still a new marketplace store versus US. So I don't think for Amazon.sg is that mature yet. One good, there's two part of it. So if your product is new, there's no review at all, right? There's no global review that we can port over from Amazon.com, Amazon US, right? Don't worry about it. I think the main part will be the fact that you sell the product, get some sales, and making sure you bring good customer service, right? You after that some sale, making sure you also send a message via our seller central to the customers asking for the review. I think by doing this, I think it will help you to get a momentum. Yeah, because we don't have program like wine program launch here yet, but I think in the future we will have it, but not within this year. Yeah.
Thanks, June. Yeah. There's another question about trademark from Darren. So, any difference between Singapore trademark versus US trademark when selling in the US? So this is an Amazon.com question. So Darren, to answer you directly, okay, if you are a Singapore company and you have a brand and you can actually sign up for both US and Singapore trademark. But when you're talking about trademark protection from a legal perspective in the US, only your US trademark will legally protect you. So if you use a Singapore trademark in the US, it just doesn't work because the Singapore trademark only works in Singapore. So if you're selling it on .sg and you see any fraudulent activities, then you can use your Singapore trademark to enforce that. But for the US side, it will be your US trademark. There's another question about brand registry cost. Is there any additional cost to brand registry? I will just answer the .com side of things. So like what I mentioned, both .sg and .com have this thing called IP Accelerator, meaning that Amazon actually did reach out to law firms in both US and Singapore to pre-negotiate a price for your trademark application. So on the US side, like what I've mentioned, it's around $1,200 per class for your trademark that will last for 10 years. And the application period will take around 6 to 9 months. Yep. So June, do you want to talk about a bit more on Singapore trademark?
Yeah, for Singapore trademark, right? I think you can register as well. I am not sure about the actual cost, but I think it's cheaper. I think it's I think it depends on where you want to go. To be honest, when it's come to brand registry, right? By right, it's good for you to have IP protection in the countries you plan to sell in case that there's some violation. But in terms of Amazon perspective wise, I would say you can have only one trademark based on the countries that we accept. So US is one of them, right? Singapore is also one of them. So if you have only brand register the trademark protection only in Singapore, for example, you can access to those brand tools for .com for Singapore or any other Amazon store. So depends on how much protection you need actually in each of the market or stores that you want to sell. Yeah.
Thanks, June. Yep, I will answer one last question. This is from Melissa from Malaysia, and I think this is for Daryl. So I'm from Malaysia. I already have a sole proprietorship in Malaysia. Can I just open any Singapore bank account?
Okay, to answer that question, you still can. However, you will require some more specific documents that the banks will require, such as like a proof of address, or they will do a bit more stringent checks on you. So if you do still want to open an account, I can recommend some digital banks instead, rather than a Singapore local bank.
Cool. Thanks, Daryl.
Yeah.
Yep, I think I have come to the end of the webinar. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Daryl, for joining us in this webinar. I hope to see you in
Thanks,
the
guys.
next
Thanks,
version.
Abel. Thanks, June.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.